Hello everyone, Cheek here with another Transformers review, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Human Alliance Barricade. And if it isn't obvious, he is from the 2007 Transformers movie, and he comes along with a little companion, Frenzy. Although, even though he was never really driving Barricade, I mean, all the Human Alliance figures came with a little partner that could drive their alt mode. So that was pretty cool. I know the background is from a completely different Transformers movie, but it was the closest one that made sense for Barricade, in my opinion, because, you know, he's a rampaging Decepticon. And, of course, there is the tiny little Frenzy. Frenzy, unfortunately, as I'm assuming this is a pre-owned one, not brand new, so it did, even though it was in packaging and wrapped up, I got this guy in Malaysia. I guess I'm just lucky he wasn't an outright knockoff, because the Bumblebee I got was a piece of junk and fell to pieces, and I wasn't even going to bother reviewing it. Yeah, but this Frenzy was pretty messed up. Like, this leg right here, it broke off. All I did was just trying to move the leg around, and then pop, it just broke off, and I, this morning, super glued it back on, and the downside is getting him to stand at all is pretty much of a challenge. Same with Barricade, because his hips are super loose. He's okay, I guess. I think this is actually a pretty good look for Barricade. The only downside is, like I said, is the legs and the hips. If it wasn't for that, I think I'd like him a bit more. But man, oh man, is that such a big glaring issue for me. But yeah, I do love the detail on this guy. For the most part, I mean, some of the Human Alliance figures I've seen weren't the greatest, but I'd say a lot of them were really good. Maybe not as good as some of the Studio Series ones, at least as far as, like, accuracy, but as far as, like, you know, trying to be like a workable vehicle mode, like, I think they, and also having a good looking robot mode, I think they were really good about that. The head does have light piping, and his mouth does kind of open and close a little bit, but not much. It is on a ball joint and a hinge, but so you can look up and down quite a bit. Has a lot of wibbly wobbly. Head can, yeah, the head can't really do a full 360. Well, I guess it can. You just have to be very careful about it. But again, for most figures, why do you need to rotate the head all the way around? The arms, depending on how you have these positioned, generally I've seen them bowed inward, but the arms can go out that far. Can do a full 360. Can get over 90-degree bend at the elbow. This hand is not a hand, it's just his spinning tire weapon. Too bad they, you know, didn't give him two hands and then a weapon that he could hold, but whatever. It is what it is. And this hand can't rotate, but it does have a somewhat articulated hand. You can open and close it. You can move the finger, or thumb, I should say. And that's pretty much it for that. He doesn't really have a good waist rotation. It's very, very stiff, and I'm almost afraid to break the mushroom peg that it's on. And then the legs, you can't really do the splits. You can only go about that far. And this is another thing, like I said, the legs are the big downside to this guy, because he can kick forward that far, but it's at an angle. It's like you can't go straight up. It's at an angle, and then he can go back about that far. Now for the knee bend, it's pretty much bent all the way it is already, because you can't exactly have it 100% straight and have him stand, so you can't really get much there at the knee. He's just a really wonky figure. And then he doesn't really have ankle tiltage, but you can angle these pieces right here on his feet to allow him more stability. Oh, and also another thing, he didn't come with instructions at all. So I do have him mistransformed. I just realized the feet need to be rotated around. There we are. And it's possible I still have him technically mistransformed, but I'm honestly not completely sure. Oh, and also he does have a knee swivel. Yeah, I thought the feet looked a bit odd, but I wonder if he's going to stand better after this, or worse, actually. Okay, well, his legs are more straight now, I guess, but man, is he a bit wonky. And if you look in here, he does have a cavity that looks like it's supposed to have Frenzy, and I'm sure under ideal circumstances, Frenzy could fit in there. But especially since I had to super glue his leg back on, I am not going to risk that breaking off again. And so we have a Barricade in his vehicle mode, his police car mode, and I think he looks really cool in it. It does have a little bit of paint chipping, because like I said, I do believe it was used. And then on this door, slight discoloration. It's not too noticeable as it was initially. I think I managed to clean it off a little bit, but I suspect maybe it had been in the home of a smoker originally. But it's still, like I said, in pretty good shape. I do think that this guy is pretty cool, like I guess I've been saying. But you can see, 1865 police. Let's see, something. It's hard to tell because of the Decepticon emblem. To punish and enslave. Same on this side. 643 police, and to punish and enslave. And Celine or whatever that's supposed to be. But yeah, this guy is pretty decent. I think there is one other thing that's supposed to be done with the vehicle mode, which is these right here that can flip out. They're like little guns, and I wonder if that's supposed to be similar to like kind of like what came out of his headlights. You can kind of sort of pop this out a little bit if you want, but I think that's kind of cool thing that you can do. The only downside is that when you pull them, try to put them back, it kind of undoes the front of the car a bit. There we are. And then inside, come on, let's get this opened up. There we are. You can clearly see the inside of a police car, and it looks really, really cool in my opinion. There's the steering wheel, the glove box, all that, the seats, and it just looks so nice. Yeah, it was really well done. I feel like Human Alliance is sort of like the new alternators, although I know, if I remember right, some of the alternators, I don't know if it was all of them, but you could turn the steering wheel and it would also turn the front wheels. But obviously this guy can't really do that, but he's still cool nonetheless. And Frenzy ideally would be able to sit in there and then have his little hands on the steering wheel, but it's well, it's kind of difficult to do, especially when you're kind of terrified that one of the limbs might break off. But there he is, sitting in there. So you can have Frenzy in the driver's seat, or you can put him in the passenger seat if you want to be more accurate to the first movie, where he was where you got into the passenger seat, and then Barricade's hologram was behind the steering wheel. Okay, quick little bonus. Another guy that I got in Malaysia, or was it Thailand? Actually, I think this guy I got in Thailand. He's a little knockoff Ironhide, and he's actually somewhat decent. Wasn't a complete piece of junk. Has 4 pinned-in wheels, and I thought it'd just be appropriate to show this guy off because it's like he's so tiny it doesn't really seem to warrant a whole review to me, but it is pretty much a Legends class Ironhide, 2007, or maybe Revenge of the Fallen, because he didn't really change much between the movies he was in. But yeah, this is a little Legends Ironhide, although obviously they gave him a different name because obviously, you know, copyright reasons, but a tiny little Ironhide. So that's about it for Transformers Human Alliance, Barricade, and Frenzy. This is a pretty cool find. I'm pretty sure, almost 1% certain, that he is not a knockoff. Can't rule that out completely. But I'd say if you want a Human Alliance figure, Barricade's pretty good to go, as long as you don't care too much about his leg and hip articulation. So that's about it, and if you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. And until next time, have a good one, everyone.